let's just jump into it. If you've got something locked and loaded, what was your first big success, or a success that you can be proud of in your beginning stages of working?
Okay, all right, here you go. Here's a beginning and then we're in a current success, because they were on different levels and both I'm proud of. Beginning success, I'd started in New York and eventually moved out to LA, and I kind of went back and forth between the two, and then eventually while I was in LA, through the contacts that I made there, I got called to do a job in India, and that was something that I was not prepared for, and then didn't know what it was like to work in India. And of course, they're like 3 months. I was like, score, I'll go to India for 3 months. And then you start to get the details of it. It's like, the pay is not great. The hours are long. The weeks are long. Conditions aren't great. But you're like, whatever, here we go. I got to say, it's probably the job that moved me in the direction of coordinating more so than anything else. I had coordinated some low budgets, some student films in the earlier parts of my career. And I know that's something that a lot of performers get told, hey, don't call yourself a coordinator before you actually get to do anything of note. Bullshit. If somebody asks you, hey, I got this like low budget, no budget thing, take it, get some experience, but don't put yourself in a position where you're getting in over your head. Like, be smart enough to know your limitations, but absolutely try and advance yourself, because there's going to come a point in your career where hitting the ground, that concrete is eventually going to win. So in this particular job, I went over as a performer. The coordinator that I was working with, Lee Whitaker and Dave McCumber, they saw something in me to say, hey, we want you handling more responsibility. And that was great, because it allowed me to work more closely with the locals over there who, for those of us that work here, we really ought to be very grateful for everything that we have, not just living in this country, but working as a stunt performer in this country, because the guys over there work for a fraction of what we make. It was like, I think $50 a day. They have to drive 2 hours to 2 hours from set. They're putting in 12-hour days. Like, these men are exhausting themselves. And on this one particular day, I just happened to recall, like, some of the locals were doing a wire gag and they were getting yanked to the deck, and it was just some really hard earth. So we're out there with shovels and we're tilling it up for them, trying to keep them safe. And these guys don't have stunt pads like we have here. So I go over to one of the guys, I'm like, here, like, take my gator. And like, even the other guys on the team are like, here, take our pads, protect yourselves. And they do the wire gag, and the guy comes up to me afterwards and he runs right up to me and he's in tears. And he grabbed hold of me, and I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? Like, did you get hurt? He's like, no. And they always call you master over there. It's just something you got to get used to. But he says, no, master, nobody looks out for us like you guys do. And it really hit me, man. It's like, these guys like are so not used to being treated with respect, that little bit of respect that we showed them and just looking out for them was just something they're not accustomed to. And it's stuck with me all these years. And I think the thing that I would say is attributed to my success where I'm at is, like, I'm not the greatest stunt performer. There's so many guys out there that are so much more talented than me, but I pay attention to safety. I care about the people on my team, and I just try to be a team player. And I'd like to think that's what the guys who were in charge saw in me. Now, so that was something that I attribute to my success at the early stages. Forward now to a job that I was doing about a year or so ago, this show called The Bondsman, and there was an opportunity to move from stunt coordinator to second unit director. And the production was losing the coordinator that they had at the time, and he was pushing for me to take over his job. And they didn't really know me in that capacity. So for them, they were like, we want to go with somebody we know. And I got thrust into a position to prove myself. And in doing so, production saw what I was capable of doing, and they were like, okay, cool. Like, he's our guy. But I had to prove myself. Like, I was not handed anything. I had to work for it, and I had to show people that I'm capable. So I've always been grateful for the fact that no matter where I've been in my career, hard work does pay off.
Absolutely, for sure. Without a doubt, it does. My next question was actually going to be, is there something early on in your career or later on in your career, whether it was a person or a job or a lesson that you learned that kind of helped shape or influence how your path unfolded, or just stuck with you in some particular way?
There's been a lot. I've worked with people over the years that have challenged me in various ways by either being somebody who they could be a little bit difficult, or perhaps somebody that came from a generation that just did things differently. I'm not going to say any names, but I've worked with people that they're just, they come from a different era and they expect a certain level of toughness, and I have no problem taking a beating. I'm fine with that. Like, that's part of the job. And that's something that, again, with like a lot of the stunt performers that are coming up now, there's an odd expectation of an over reliance on pads constantly being put down. And look, I'm one of the people who will absolutely advocate for, like, if I can put a pad down for you, I'm going to keep you safe. Like, I treat your professional athletes like I want you to go home to your family at the end of the day. It's that almost expectation that, well, you're going to put a pad down for me. It's like, well, if I can, but you shouldn't go into any of these situations expecting your coordinator to do anything for you. You should be prepared, because a lot of times, like, I would show up and like I still get mocked for it now. Like, even when I'll do a performing job, I have this gigantic OGO bag that's got all my stuff in it. Like, oh, what do you need that for? I'm like, just in case, man, just in case. And it's not always about just me. Like, I was on a job recently where a performer had to do a fall, and the first two falls were, they were a little scary. She had to dial it in. But I asked her, I was like, hey, do you have a helmet? And she's like, no, I don't. I was like, try mine, just to be safe. And it's good to have those things around. It's not always for you. It's for protecting, again, your team. So that was something that I got used to from a coordinator earlier on, was just having to just be prepared. You never know what they're going to throw at you. But as far as like lessons, a guy that I mentioned earlier, Lee Whitaker, I had done a job with him in LA. It was a free viz for a project. And I noticed that there was a bunch of guys there, and we all have a tendency as performers, when we get together, we'll just start shooting the shit, just sharing stories, playing on our phones, and we're not always paying attention to what's going on. And I made a point of paying close attention and keeping an eye on what he was doing, so that if at any point in time he looked up and said, I need so-and-so, or I need this pad, I'm right there. Like, I got you. Go get it. And the guys that I consistently hire, like mine. Like, they're always, man, I'm just gonna beat a dead horse. It's just being a team player, man. The guys who, like, everyone will ask me, like, what do I have to do to be core team? What do I have to do to be on a run? Be a team player. Like, have something that you offer the team beyond just, hey, I can hit the ground hard, I can fight, or I can flip. Like, those are great skills to have, but you need to be able to offer team attributes. Like, you have to be able to know how at any point in time to go big, even if it's a little bit. Like, just know how to help your rigging team if they say, hey, go get this from the trailer. Just being an all-around performer, and I know we throw that term around there, like all expected abilities. When I say you have all expected abilities, one of those is, do you understand what rigging tools are? And not a lot of people do. They just don't take the time to learn those skills.
That's a good point. You got to be a little bit more useful than just on camera.
Oh yeah, but I will say that was something I did learn from a coordinator early on, and I'm happy to repeat this because he is incredibly correct on this. I'll give him credit. Garrett Warren, he had said a long time ago, your number one job as a stunt performer is to be an actor. So if you're going to be on camera, you better be able to act.
Good point. Absolutely. You brought up your kit before, your gear bag. Is there anything that you absolutely cannot go to set without having?
My whole bag. Oh God, man. Shit, knees and elbows, man. Like, there's plenty of days where I've gotten by with being able to, I'll get by without them. I get by without like a gator some days, but like inevitably you always find yourself doing something where you're like, God, I wish I just had some knees. Wish I could just throw some elbows on, like just the basics. You'll get your harnesses, you'll get all the other little tools, but man, just get some good knees and elbows, because that's the quality of life right there.
Any unconventional or really random item in your bag that you carry?
Oh, let me think for a second.
I've heard bubble wrap before, or water bottles, just empty water bottles filled with
an emergency kit. I keep an emergency kit in there that's usually got your aspirin, your pain relievers, because at some point I guarantee you're going to need it. But I like to have that there just in case.
You never know.
You never know, man. but also a good one to have in there, just in the off chance that like you're on set and you got somebody who needs to kneel down. I've just got like a little square of Ensolite that just cut. I can, if I needed to, I could throw it in my gator if I need a little bit of extra padding, or I could throw it on the ground for an actor kneeling. It's just one of those things that, like, if a coordinator just, for whatever reason, wasn't aware that this was going to be a thing that happens, or if you got a crew member, camera ops, who are constantly just going down to their knees to get a shot, and you can just be like, hey, I got this here. Let me help you out.
Nice.
That's a good one. I've used that one a lot.
There you go. Good one. Any lesson or something now that you wish you knew when you first started?
It's not something that happens very often nowadays, but like hustling is set. The proper etiquette. Once you find yourself there, one of the things that I'll often find, and this wasn't necessarily something that I experienced myself, because I'm not a very chatty person when I'm on set anyway. I'm just I'm there to do the job, but not everybody is like that. And if you're the type who's going to come up to your coordinator and try and chat with them while they're in Video Village, it's one of those things where I'm like, if you're near Video Village, you better be there because your actor's doing something on camera and you need to see it. Otherwise, beat it. Like, you get in the way, you start chatting around the producers, and it just kind of makes your department look bad. And also, your coordinator is trying to focus on doing their job. So just help them by just being elsewhere.
Good point. Absolutely. Any final words, or maybe words of wisdom for those down on their luck, or beginners trying to get into the business?
For those that are trying to get into the business now, it's probably one of the worst times. I know this. I've seen it from a lot of people who have been in the industry for longer than me, and they're struggling right now. I'm grateful that both my wife and I have been very successful. We had a decent year last year, and be grateful when the jobs come. Don't brag about it. Be humble, because there's a lot of people out there that are really hurting right now, who have put in a lot of time and energy into this industry, and they're struggling. If you want it bad enough, just stay the course, because I don't think that all the stuff with the AI is going to be the death knell that they're saying it's going to be. I think it's going to end up turning into a genre just like anything else. There will be people that will like the AI and those that don't. There's still going to be a need for us. So take this time right now to get good. If you've got a bunch of downtime, pick up other skills. You can keep doing your fights, but learn how to shoot, learn how to edit, learn how to rig. Like, learn those skills. Driving is a little bit harder, obviously, because that requires some more expensive equipment. But if you've got an iPhone, you got no excuse to not be shooting and editing, really. But just know, like, the pendulum will swing back. The work will come. It's just a matter of how long, and just, I know it's relying on hope and trying to ask people to stay the course at a time where it's really hard. But I've been there. I've gone through hard times myself, and I know that when you dedicate yourself to something and you put in the work, there's a good chance that you will reap the benefits of that. Hard work does pay off.
Absolutely. Any final words?
Honestly, like, when you have those opportunities, like I had, this is such a little silly thing, but it's become one of those moments that just stuck with me. People ask me, like, what is your favorite moment in your career? And it's such a silly little thing, because it's not a stunt. It has not. The only thing that was stunt related is the fact that I was directing second unit, but it was that I had the opportunity to have my wife and my daughter there, so I was able to hold my little girl as I'm directing second unit. But it was that thing that stuck with me the most, is that I was able to embrace that moment of being with my family, doing something I love. So I would say the takeaway from that was, find a way. We all, stunt performers, we tend to get so jaded in doing what we do. This industry can make you so jaded. For those that have been in it for a long time, for those that are having a hard time finding something that makes them happy, look deep in yourself and, like, understand, like, what's important to you. Because for me, it was family, and being able to have my family be there in that moment was pretty awesome. So I just find things about this industry that you can enjoy, that make you happy. Because if it's not making you happy, get out. It's not worth it.
Very true. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time again. We really appreciate it. And always supporting us. And
I use it, honest to God, I use stunt listing all the time. And I actually had a stunt performer hit me up recently and ask me what I and other stunt coordinators tend to use. Like, I don't think he was very familiar with like what the listings are, 'cause he asked about stunt contact. I was like, well, that's not a listing. But I said stunt listing is what I go to. That is like no, not even 90, 100% of the time I go to stunt listing. No offense to the other ones. Stunt listing has just been the easiest. And I tell all the performers that I know, if you're not on it, get on it. Is it just, it's so easy to find people that I need, because it's not always convenient for me to break open a binder and try and find people. I don't always have the binder there with me in the moment. But stunt listing has been pretty invaluable, just to be able to like quickly find performers that are of quality. So
Awesome.
I would say for anybody who's questioning whether or not they should get on stunt listing, it's a simple answer: get on it.